A glimpse beyond. In the hushed dimness of the Orion Peak Observatory, Dr. Eli Turner adjusted the coordinates of the massive telescope, his fingers dancing with practiced ease over the controls. The night was exceptionally clear, a perfect canvas for the jewels of the night sky. Almost there, Eli murmured to himself, the anticipation building in his chest. The telescope hummed a soft, almost imperceptible whir as it aligned with the distant star he was determined to study. "You talking to yourself again, Eli?" A voice echoed from behind him, tinged with amusement. Eli didn't need to turn to know it was Dr. Lucas Grant, his colleague and old college friend, approaching with 2 steaming cups of coffee in hand. "Isn't that what all great scientists do?" Eli replied, accepting the coffee with a grateful nod. Lucas leaned against the console, peering up at the monitor. "Find anything exciting yet, or just more cosmic dust?" "I'm actually onto something, believe it or not. There's an anomaly in Sector H16 that doesn't match any known patterns. It's not dust." Lucas raised an eyebrow, sipping his coffee. "Anomalies are your specialty. What's the plan if it's something big?" "Document, analyze, and hope it's not an asteroid coming to end us all," Eli quipped, his eyes not leaving the screen. The coordinates locked in, and he adjusted the focus. The image that slowly sharpened on the screen was unlike anything he had seen before, a pulsating light with an irregular pattern. "That doesn't look like any star I've seen," Lucas commented, squinting at the monitor. "It's not a star," Eli said slowly, a thrill running through him. "It might be artificial. I need to get a better look." The 2 scientists worked in tandem, calibrating instruments and discussing potential theories. The night wore on, but the buzz of discovery kept them alert and wired. "Imagine if it's a signal," Lucas said, his voice a mix of excitement and skepticism. "Contact from another civilization. It'd change everything." Eli allowed himself a moment to dream, the vast universe stretching out before him filled with unknown possibilities. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. For now, let's just get as much data as we can." Hours passed as they collected and recorded the signal's properties. The observatory was silent except for the soft tapping of keys and the occasional clink of coffee mugs. The initial excitement settled into a steady pulse of focused activity. As dawn approached, painting the horizon with shades of orange and pink, Eli finally leaned back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. "We got something, Lucas. I don't know what yet, but it's definitely something." Lucas, ever the pragmatist, nodded. "We'll need to report this. Get some eyes on it in the morning." Eli agreed, though part of him wanted to keep this discovery between them just a little longer. It felt personal, a secret shared between the stars and him. As the first light of day crept into the observatory, Eli looked again at the screen, the strange light from a distant world flickering back at him. Whatever it was, he knew they were on the brink of something incredible. He felt it deep in his bones, a mystery that he was meant to unravel. Chapter 2: The Arrival. The International Space Agency's headquarters was buzzing with activity, far from the usual orderly calm. Cameras flashed and reporters jostled for the best positions in the press area, their voices a cacophony of excitement and speculation. Inside the control center, Eli and Lucas stood beside Director James Anders, watching the large screens that showed the approaching alien vessel. It was sleek and shimmered like a fish moving through deep water, reflecting the sunlight with every subtle turn. "Never thought I'd see the day," James murmured, his voice filled with awe. Eli nodded, his heart racing. "It's beautiful," he agreed, "and completely unlike anything we've engineered." Lucas leaned forward, squinting at the screens. "Any idea why they chose now to come?" James turned to him. "Your guess is as good as mine, but let's keep our minds open and our protocol tight." "Eli, you're up for the first communication, right?" "Yes," Eli confirmed, feeling the weight of the responsibility settle on his shoulders. "I've prepared the greeting message, following the universal contact codes." As the alien ship entered a stable orbit, the center prepared for the first direct communication. Eli stepped up to the communication panel, his fingers hovering over the console. He transmitted the greeting in several linguistic formats, hoping one would match the alien's understanding. The wait felt eternal, the room silent except for the soft hum of machines and the distant murmur of the crowd outside. Then, abruptly, the console lit up, a signal coming through. "They're responding," one of the technicians called out, adjusting the audio output. The reply was melodic, almost musical, filled with harmonious tones and pitches. The translation software worked rapidly, and a moment later, the text appeared on the screen. Peaceful greetings, people of Earth. I am Mira of Zaloria. I come in peace and hope for mutual understanding. The room erupted in a mixture of cheers and relieved laughter. James clapped both Eli and Lucas on the back. Well done, gentlemen. Let's keep this momentum. Preparations for Myra's arrival to Earth's surface began immediately. Security protocols were stringent, ensuring her safety and the safety of the personnel involved. When her vessel finally touched down in the designated landing area, Eli was among the delegation to meet her. The hatch of the vessel opened slowly, and a figure emerged. Mira was taller than the average human, her skin a shimmering silver, eyes large and luminous. She walked with a graceful confidence, her gaze sweeping over the welcoming committee. Eli stepped forward, extending his hand in a universal gesture of greeting. Welcome to Earth, Mira. I'm Dr. Eli Turner, and this is Dr. Lucas Grant. Mira took his hand, her touch cool and surprisingly firm. Thank you, Dr. Turner, Dr. Grant. I am pleased to be here. Your world is very beautiful. Lucas smiled, offering his own greeting. We hope to learn much from each other. There's a lot we can share. Yes, Mira agreed, looking between them. I am here to learn, to understand, and to share the knowledge of Zaloria. There is much to discuss. James, joining them, suggested they move to the conference room prepared for their discussions. Let's get comfortable. We have prepared a place for more private conversation and exchange. As they walked, Eli stayed close to Mira, fascinated by her calm demeanor and the serene confidence she radiated. What's your first impression of our planet? He asked, genuinely curious. It is vibrant, full of life and color, unlike Zaloria's subdued hues. Your sky is particularly captivating, Mira responded, her gaze lifting towards the blue expanse above. Hopefully, the rest of your stay will be just as captivating, Eli said, hoping to bridge galaxies with just a few words. Lucas chimed in, and maybe one day you could show us Zaloria. That would be a sight to see, Eli agreed, imagining the stars from another perspective, another world. As they entered the building, a new chapter of interstellar diplomacy began, promising a future bright with shared knowledge and newfound camaraderie. Chapter 3, Learning Curves. Eli and Lucas accompanied Mira on a guided tour through some of Earth's most iconic locales, starting with the lush expanses of the Amazon rainforest. As they walked along the elevated boardwalk, the air was thick with the symphony of life that pulsed through the dense foliage. Mira listened intently as Lucas explained the ecological significance of the area. Every species here plays a crucial part in the ecosystem. It's a delicate balance, a dance of nature that's evolved over millennia. Myra's eyes glinted with fascination. Zaloria lost many of its native species to environmental neglect before we understood the value of such balance. We have much to learn from how you preserve these treasures. Eli, carrying a portable scanner, showed Mira the data readings of the surrounding flora and fauna. We're constantly monitoring these areas. Technology helps us keep track of environmental changes in real time. As they ventured further, the trio discussed potential applications of Earth's conservation strategies on Zaloria. Mira was particularly interested in the technology used for ecological preservation. Their next stop was the bustling streets of Tokyo, where they experienced the stark contrast between the natural world and human civilization. Mira was intrigued by the harmony with which traditional and modern elements coexisted in the city. Lucas led them through a crowded marketplace. Human societies vary greatly. Each culture has its unique expressions and traditions. Mira sampled local cuisine, her expression one of mild surprise at the flavors. Your food is very vibrant. On Zaloria, our diet is more uniform. This diversity is delightful. In a quiet sushi bar, over delicate plates of sushi, Eli discussed human social structures. Food often brings people together. It's a way to share our heritage and express affection. Mira nodded thoughtfully. Zaloria has communal meals too, but nothing as intricate as this. The act of sharing meals is universal, it seems. Their final destination was a renowned university where a symposium on interstellar diplomacy was being held. Mira was the guest of honor, invited to speak about Zaloria's culture and the potential for future collaborations. As they prepared backstage, Eli adjusted his tie, feeling slightly nervous about the public speaking aspect. You ready for this? He asked Mira. She looked calm, her voice steady. I am prepared. It is important that your people understand not just where I come from, but who I am. The auditorium was packed, The audience a mix of academics, students, and media. Lucas, who was moderating the session, introduced Mira. The crowd welcomed her with polite applause. Myra's presentation was enlightening, detailing Zaloria's advancements and the societal challenges they faced. Her honesty about Zaloria's past mistakes and her hopes for mutual growth resonated with the audience. After the talk, a Q&A session started. An eager student asked, "What's the most surprising thing you've learned about Earth so far?" Mira smiled warmly. The diversity, not just in your environments, but in your people, your cultures, your thoughts. It's vastly different from the uniformity of Zaloria. The session concluded with thunderous applause. As the crowd dispersed, Eli, Lucas, and Mira discussed the day's events. "You handled that beautifully," Lucas commented as they walked out of the university. "Think you're ready to take more of Earth in?" Mira laughed, a sound as clear as the ringing of a bell. "I am indeed. Every day offers new lessons." Eli felt a sense of pride in how seamlessly Mira was integrating into their world. "Well, tomorrow's another day, full of lessons. We're thinking of showing you the Mediterranean next. The sea, the history." "I look forward to it," Mira said, her gaze reflecting a genuine curiosity and eagerness to continue her journey through the diverse landscapes and cultures Earth had to offer. Chapter 4: Bonds of the Unseen. The Mediterranean's azure waters sparkled under the afternoon sun as Eli, Lucas, and Mira arrived at a quaint coastal town renowned for its artistic heritage and historical architecture. They strolled along the cobbled streets, the air salty and filled with the sound of distant waves crashing against the shore. Mira, dressed in a light, flowing garment that fluttered with the breeze, appeared captivated by the scenic beauty. "Your planet is rich with colors and life. Zaloria's landscapes are more monochrome." Eli pointed towards the harbor where artists had set up their easels, capturing the vibrant scene. "Art is a big part of human culture. It's how we express our emotions, our history, and our hopes." Lucas, who had been quiet, chimed in. "Why don't we try it? Let's have a painting session. It could be a fun way to show you another aspect of our culture." Mira was intrigued. "I have never painted before. On Zaloria, we use light and space to create what you might call art." They approached an elderly artist who was more than willing to share his supplies and guide them through the basics of painting. Each selected a canvas, and soon they were all deeply absorbed in their own interpretations of the landscape. As they painted, Eli asked Mira, "How do you usually express creativity on Zaloria?" Mira paused, her brush in midair. "We manipulate environmental elements to create spatial sculptures, temporary but shared by all who perceive them." "That sounds fascinating," Lucas noted, dabbing a bit more blue onto his canvas. "Art that exists only for a moment, shared among many. It's quite poetic." The hours slipped by, the trio lost in their activity. Eventually, they stepped back to regard their work. Each painting was drastically different. Eli's was detailed and precise, Lucas's was bold and abstract, and Myra's was an intriguing blend of Zalorian and Earth styles. "I will cherish this experience," Mira said, a soft smile playing on her lips as she observed her painting. Today was enlightening. As the sun began to set, they packed up their supplies and thanked the artist, who was impressed with Myra's quick grasp of a foreign art form. They decided to visit a nearby cafe to relax and discuss the day. Over cups of rich coffee and plates of local pastries, their conversation drifted to deeper topics. Mira became more reflective, sharing more about Zaloria. "Our society values uniformity because it is seen as a way to eliminate conflict. But seeing Earth's diversity has shown me the beauty of individual expression." Eli nodded thoughtfully. "Diversity can lead to disagreements, but it also fosters innovation and growth. Perhaps there's a middle ground." Lucas looked between them, his expression serious. "Maybe this exchange isn't just about sharing knowledge, but about understanding the fundamental aspects of what makes each of our cultures unique." Mira agreed, her voice firm yet warm. "Yes, and understanding leads to stronger bonds, bonds that aren't just seen but felt. Bonds like the one we're forming now." Their talk lingered on as the stars began to appear, twinkling in the clear sky above. The day had been one of shared experiences and mutual learning, a testament to the power of cultural exchange. As they left the cafe, the cool night air embraced them. The sound of the sea accompanied their walk back to their accommodations, a serene end to a profound day. Myra's last words before they parted for the night echoed in Eli's mind, "From starlit skies to human hearts," indeed. The phrase encapsulated their growing friendship, a bond fostered not just through diplomacy, but through genuine personal connection. Chapter 5: Echoes of the Heart. As the days turned into weeks, Myra's presence on Earth continued to resonate with those she encountered. The next major event was a cultural festival celebrating Earth's diverse traditions and now, for the first time, introducing elements from Zaloria. The festival grounds were bustling with people, colorful stalls, and vibrant music, set against the backdrop of a large city park. Lucas was coordinating the festival's interstellar exchange booth. He spotted Eli and Mira approaching through the crowd. "Eli, Mira, over here," he shouted over the noise, waving them over. Myra's eyes were wide with curiosity as she took in the sights and sounds. "It's like a mosaic of cultures," she observed, her voice filled with wonder. Eli grinned. "Exactly. Humans celebrate diversity. It's a vital part of our identity. What do you think of trying some traditional dances? Each region's dance tells a story." "I would be honored to learn," Mira replied, her tone earnest. They made their way to a dance area where a group was demonstrating a lively folk dance. The instructor, a jovial man with an infectious smile, invited Mira to join. "Don't worry about the steps at first. Just feel the music," he advised. With Eli and Lucas joining in, the trio stumbled at first, but soon Mira began to move with a rhythm that seemed influenced by the fluid, graceful movements of her own planet. Spectators clapped and cheered, clearly enjoying the spectacle of a human and an alien dancing together. After the dance, they returned to Lucas's booth, where he was showcasing artifacts from Earth alongside a few items Mira had brought from Zaloria. "These exchanges go beyond just knowledge," Lucas explained to a group of interested attendees. "They're about sharing what makes us unique and finding understanding in our differences." A young woman from the crowd, her eyes bright with curiosity, asked Mira, "What's the most similar thing you've found between our worlds?" Mira thought for a moment before answering. "The desire to connect, to understand each other. Despite our many differences at heart, we all seek connection." The booth became a popular spot, drawing a diverse crowd eager to learn more about Zaloria and share their own stories. Eli watched as Mira interacted with each person, her demeanor open and eager. It was clear that she was deeply absorbing every interaction, every shared piece of humanity. As evening approached, the festival grounds transformed with the setting sun casting long shadows. Lanterns lit up, bathing the area in a soft, warm glow. The atmosphere turned more intimate, and a stage nearby began to host a series of musical performances. "Mira, would you like to try some traditional Earth cuisine?" Eli asked, gesturing towards the food stalls adorned with lights and decorations. "I would love to," Mira responded, her voice filled with anticipation. They sampled various dishes, with Eli and Lucas explaining the origins and ingredients of each. Mira was particularly taken with a spicy dish, which made her laugh as she reached for water. "Your spices are quite powerful." Their final stop was at a quiet bench away from the bustle, where they could watch a live band performing. The music was soulful, with deep beats and a haunting melody that seemed to bridge Earth and Zaloria. "It's beautiful," Mira said softly, "how music can touch something inside us, regardless of where we come from." Eli nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "It's a universal language. Maybe the purest form of communication we have." The day ended with the festival's closing ceremony, a brilliant display of fireworks that lit up the night sky. Mira, Eli, and Lucas stood together, watching the colors burst above them, a mirror of the diverse yet unified world below. As they walked back through the now quietening grounds, Lucas clapped both Eli and Mira on the shoulders. "Today was a good day. It's these moments that really show what we're capable of when we come together." Eli agreed, and as they said their goodbyes, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment and optimism. The bonds they were building here, underpinned by shared experiences and mutual respect, were just the beginning. Chapter 6: Depths of Understanding. Eli's family home was a cozy, ivy-covered cottage nestled in the rolling hills outside the city. As they approached the gate, Mira paused, taking in the serene landscape, a stark contrast to the bustling festival they had attended the day before. "This is beautiful, Eli," Mira said, her voice filled with a genuine appreciation. "It feels peaceful here." "My parents love the quiet," Eli replied as he opened the gate. "They say it keeps them grounded." As they entered the house, the smell of baking greeted them. Eli's mother, a warm, inviting woman, came out from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. "You must be Mira. We've heard so much about you. Welcome." Thank you, Mrs. Turner, Mira responded, her manner respectful and curious. Your home is very welcoming. Eli's father, a retired engineer with a keen interest in interstellar cultures, extended a hand. Call me Joe. We're glad to have you, Mira. Eli tells us you're from Zaloria? Yes, that's correct, Mira said, shaking his hand. It's quite different from here. As they sat down in the living room, Eli's mother served tea and homemade cookies, creating a comfortable atmosphere. Joe was eager to dive into conversation. So, what's life like on Zaloria? Eli's updates are fascinating, but I'd love to hear it from you. Mira described her planet, from the vast landscapes to the structured, communal society. Her descriptions were vivid, painting a picture of a world both strange and intriguing to Eli's parents. It sounds like you value community very highly, Joe noted, nodding thoughtfully. We do, Mira agreed. Our survival depends on it. But seeing Earth, I've learned there's strength in individuality too. The conversation shifted as they moved to the dining room for dinner. The table was set with a variety of dishes, and Eli explained each one as they ate. Mom's famous roast and Dad's vegetable garden salad. Mira tasted everything, asking questions about the ingredients and the recipes. Food is such a personal, cultural expression. Sharing a meal like this, it's intimate, isn't it? It's one of the ways we express love and care, Eli's mother said with a smile. Passing down recipes, cooking for each other. It's how we keep our traditions alive. After dinner, they gathered in the backyard, where the night sky was clear and filled with stars. Joe had set up a small telescope, and they took turns looking at different constellations. Mira was fascinated by the constellations, and Joe explained their myths and significance. Each constellation has a story behind it. They're part of our human heritage. It's similar on Zaloria, Mira shared. We also look to the stars and tell stories. Though our constellations are different, the act of storytelling connects us. Eli watched Mira and his parents interact, pleased to see the easy flow of dialogue. It was more than mere politeness. It was a genuine exchange of ideas and feelings. As the evening drew to a close, Mira thanked Eli's parents. Thank you for sharing your home and your hearts with me. Tonight was very special. Eli's father smiled. It was our pleasure. Understanding each other's worlds, it's the first step towards true friendship. Walking back to the car, Eli felt a sense of fulfillment. How did you find the evening? Mira looked thoughtful. I feel closer to understanding humanity. Your family, their openness, it's very heartening. That's what it's all about, Eli said, as they drove away under the starlit sky, feeling that their understanding of each other had deepened significantly, not just on a cultural level, but on a personal one as well. Chapter 7, The Night Sky Beckons. Back at the observatory where their journey together had begun, Eli and Mira stood beneath the expansive starlit sky. It was a special night, marked for observing a rare celestial event, an alignment of planets that occurred once every few decades. Eli had been looking forward to sharing this with Mira, knowing it would resonate with her love for the cosmos. Tonight, we'll see something spectacular, Eli said, adjusting the telescope. The alignment should be visible right from here. Mira gazed upwards, her face alight with anticipation. I've read about your planetary alignments. On Zaloria, we have similar phenomena. They're considered times of reflection and renewal. Lucas joined them, bringing an extra pair of binoculars. Wouldn't miss this for the world, he remarked cheerily. It's not every day you get to watch the planets dance. As the time drew near, Eli explained the scientific significance of the event, while Lucas set up a camera to capture the moment. These alignments can affect gravitational pulls, even tides, and sometimes people think they influence human behavior. Do you believe they influence us? Mira asked, curious. Some people do, Lucas replied with a shrug. It's more superstition than science, but it's fun to think about. The trio watched as the stars and planets began to move into position. The observatory's roof was open, the cool night air mingling with their breaths as they spoke in hushed tones, the atmosphere thick with, "Here it comes," Eli said, pointing. They all watched, transfixed, as the planets aligned perfectly, their combined light brighter than any star in the sky. "It's beautiful," Mira whispered, her voice full of wonder. "It makes you feel so small, yet part of something immense." "Yes, it does," Eli agreed, his gaze meeting hers. The connection between them, underscored by the grandeur of the universe, felt deeper, more profound. As the alignment reached its peak, Eli took a step closer to Mira. The moment felt right, and under the glow of the celestial spectacle, he leaned in and kissed her. It was a gentle, questioning kiss, one that spoke of nights spent learning about each other and days filled with shared discoveries. Mira responded with a tenderness that matched his own, her hand coming up to rest on his cheek. When they finally pulled apart, the sky was still blazing with light, but was no match for the look in Myra's eyes. "I have wondered about this," Mira confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "About us?" "So have I," Eli admitted, his heart racing. "There's something about you, Mira. Something that draws me in." Lucas, ever the respectful friend, had discreetly stepped away, giving them space. He observed the night sky through binoculars, pretending to be absorbed in the stars. Mira and Eli talked then, under the vast sky, about what this meant for them, two beings from different worlds drawn together by curiosity and kept there by something much deeper. They discussed the challenges, the vast distances between their planets, and the potential for misunderstanding. "But there's also potential for something great," Eli said, his hand finding Myra's. "For understanding, for learning, for something like love." Mira nodded, her eyes reflective. "Yes, for something like love." They spent the rest of the night watching the stars, talking intermittently, comfortable in the silence that fell between them. It was a perfect, peaceful ending to a night full of revelations, with a promise of many more nights to come. When the celestial show was over, and the planets began to drift apart, so too did they, but with a new understanding of their bond, one that was as vast and potentially as enduring as the universe itself. Chapter 8: Horizon of a New Dawn. The Global Conference on Interstellar Relations was set in a grand hall, filled with representatives from around the world and beyond. Scientists, diplomats, and scholars all gathered to hear about the progress of Earth's interaction with Zaloria. At the heart of it were Eli and Mira, who had prepared a joint presentation about their experiences and the lessons learned from their unique cultural exchange. As they stood backstage, Eli adjusting his tie and Mira checking her notes, Lucas came up to them with 2 cups of coffee. "Here, you might need these," he said, handing them the cups. "Thanks, Lucas," Eli replied, taking a sip. "How's the crowd?" "Excited, curious, and a bit anxious," Lucas said, peering through the curtain. "Everyone's looking forward to hearing about your work together." Mira looked at Eli, her expression calm yet determined. "Are we ready for this?" "We are," Eli reassured her, placing his empty cup on a nearby table. "Let's go out there and show them what we've achieved." As they were introduced, applause filled the room. Eli led the way to the podium, Mira by his side. Each step they took a testament to their journey from starlit skies to human hearts. "Ladies and gentlemen," Eli began, his voice clear and confident, "we stand here today not just as representatives of our respective worlds, but as friends who have learned to understand and appreciate our differences." Mira took over smoothly, her voice echoing in the hall. "Our collaboration has shown us that the challenges of interstellar relations are not insurmountable. We have shared knowledge, experiences, and even our arts and traditions." Lucas, from his seat in the audience, watched as slides of their time together, images of Earth and Zaloria, of their visits to various cultural sites, and their collaborative projects were displayed behind Eli and Mira. Eli continued, "Through Mira, I've seen how 2 very different civilizations can find common ground. We've tackled environmental issues together, exchanged technological ideas, and most importantly, built a bridge of mutual respect." Mira added, "The journey has not been without its difficulties, but the rewards have been immense. We hope that our experiences can serve as a model for future interactions between Earth and other civilizations." The audience listened intently, their attention captured by the story unfolding before them. After the presentation, the floor was open for questions. A delegate from Brazil asked, "What do you think is the key factor in the success of your partnership?" "The key," Eli answered, "is open communication and a willingness to learn from each other. We approached our interactions with open hearts and minds, ready to adapt and embrace new ideas." Mira nodded, "And patience. Learning about each other's worlds takes time, but it is a worthwhile investment." As the conference drew to a close, the consensus was clear. Eli and Myra's partnership had not only paved the way for continued cooperation between Earth and Zaloria, but it also ignited a new enthusiasm for interstellar diplomacy among all attendees. Walking out of the conference hall, Eli, Mira, and Lucas felt a sense of accomplishment. They had not only contributed to their fields, but had sparked a broader dialogue about the potential for peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit across galaxies. From starlit skies to human hearts, Mira repeated the phrase that had become a symbol of their journey. May this be just the beginning. Eli smiled, looking up at the sky visible through the large windows of the conference hall. With open hearts and minds, who knows what the future holds? And with that hopeful note, they stepped into the evening, the horizon before them bright with promise, ready to explore the vast universe and the myriad of opportunities it offered.